twisted seven times.
Shad Beard, my man, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for being so flexible.
What's going on, guys?
Has it been raining as much in North Carolina as it has here? I mean, it's been like raining for 2 months straight.
Yeah, a lot of rain here. It's been pretty wet.
Good to see that your neighbor got the internet fixed.
Yeah. No, it's interesting, man. It's like a cascade of cuts here, man. So when I got mine resolved, the guy cut my neighbor's net line. So it was a cascade of everybody getting their lines cut. So we're good, though. Shout out to Spectrum.
Thank you. I love Fallout.
I disagree in this area, bro.
Is it legit up there? Because everybody complains about them down here.
It's AT&T. I had AT&T prior, and they're terrible.
See, I'm the other way around. That's who I got, and my fiber cable has snapped twice, and both times they've sent somebody within like an hour to get it fixed. So it did take. We had no power after the hurricane for 11 days, and we had no internet for like 4 more after that. But they were busy. I get it. Let's get back to it. The Rob Brown Show on the radio. It is the Fan Upstate joining the radio program now. Ordinarily, you hear him at 8:40 on Thursdays. And if you can't make it on Thursdays, ordinarily you hear him at 8:40 on Fridays. But we've got Jay Paterno coming up in the next segment to talk House v. NCAA settlements. So Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, kind enough to be super flexible and jump on with us here at 8:20 on a Friday. What's up, big fella? How we feeling?
Things are going well, man. No complaints. Happy to be here.
Love it, dude. Love it. Let's dive right in. I pointed this out on the show yesterday. I don't know if you agree. I don't know if you feel the same way. I don't know if I'm blowing it out of proportion. But as I am watching the reports come out of minicamp, Rashad, we are hearing that there's a little attitude on the field, a little bite. We've got Bryce Young talking with JC. Now, they cleared it up afterward and said he wasn't jacked on. He was just saying, hey, man, quit listening to the plays. Believe in yourself. You don't need to do that. Like, play the game. But the fact that he was willing to walk up to JC, get in his face. I've heard stories that some of the offensive line, maybe a little extra sauce on some pops to the pads every now and then. The theme has been, it seemed to me, Rashad, that this team is kind of biting a little bit out there on the field, a little attitude going. A, have you heard it? B, do you believe it? And C, do you think that is a good sign for the Cats?
I have heard it. I do believe it, and I believe it's a sign of confidence, right? I think when you only act like that when you're confident and you know what you're doing. Everybody's coming into year 2 of the system. Bryce is comfortable. The defense should be getting more comfortable. And so I think everybody is getting there. And I think when you get there and you start to see things come together and you get this feeling, I think that you start to, you start to let your colors show a little bit. And so I think everybody's getting comfortable, and I'm happy to hear it. I'm happy to see the guys are getting in each other's face, and I've said this is my 3rd time saying this, but all we need now is for Bryce Young to jack up J.C. Horn, and we've got a 2015 scenario. If you can recall, all Panthers fans, when Cam Newton jacked up Josh Norman, that we went to the Super Bowl that year. So that's all we need to happen this offseason, and we're going to the Super Bowl. So, so yeah, good stuff. I like it. I like that we're getting a little bit more intense.
All right. I got 2 things. Number one, we all know Josh Norman was a pain in the ass. All right, let's not pretend he wasn't. All right,
Greenwood zone. I mean,
fine
from this area.
But one of the biggest smack talkers in the game All right, it was just off. It was just
nothing wrong with that.
It was just defensive Steve Smith. On the flip side, you know I love my special baby boy BY, and I'm all on board. I've been the only dude in the area defending the guy. BY, I don't need you throwing hands, bro. I ain't there yet, Rashad. I know he's getting tough. I know he's thickened up a little bit. My man looks good. The playoff beard coming in real nice. I'm all on board. No, I do not need Bryce Young out there throwing hands, please.
Hey, listen, man, don't push him, man. No, he's not gonna go there, but you don't want to push him too far. You don't want to see Bryce's true colors. So let's I like where things are. I don't think we need any scuffles, but yeah, shout out to Bryce Young, man. I think it's his confidence. Seriously, I think he's just confident in the game, and things are starting to slow down for him. Again, he finished the season off very well last season, and I think he's bringing that same confidence into this season. And so I think he's starting to get comfortable.
Yeah,
I wouldn't worry about throwing hands. It's probably like kicking shins, but you know.
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
dude, it's nonstop.
No.
It's nonstop. It never stops,
on,
Rashad.
bro.
It never stops. It never ends.
on,
All right.
bro.
Let's talk about the other report that we got yesterday, which is I would read the list of names of former Panthers that have been hanging out around the facility, but it's like all of the ones you've heard of with the exception of Cam, right? To me, and this is, again, I may be just silver lining optimisming this whole thing, but you got that many guys, and we know Carolina keeps a real good relationship with their alum, with their former players, but you got that many guys who are showing up, they're at the facility, they're involved, they're active, they're having conversations with the young guys, whatever that is that they're doing. Again, I might be blowing up, but that says to me that the boys, the alum, the guys that really care about this program, feels to me like they kind of believe where this team is right now too.
Yeah, I think I think Tepper's done a great job with that, and that's one thing I will commend Tepper on. He's been doing a good job recently. We've given Tepper some props on our show. As much as we talk bad about him, we've been very critical of David Tepper. I also give him props for turning things around and being a little less vocal than he has been in prior seasons. But one of the things he does and has done well is the alumni relations, right? He has this whole thing where he wanted to be like the Ravens, right? I've had a conversation with Steve Smith about their alumni relations and how well the Ravens do with their alumni. And I think he has talking obviously to Steve Smith about that. And I think they want to recreate that same type of synergy with their alumni. And so I think this is a great thing, bringing those guys back, treating them like they're legends, giving them all their flowers, allowing them to come back and show them their just due. I like it. And the fact that they are seeing things and you have conversations with these guys and these guys start getting in front of the media and they start talking about how good the team is. I think it's all just good synergy. And when you got those guys on board, it's going to do nothing but, because everybody's going to be there to teach, right? And I've seen some conversations. I know Captain Munnerlyn is another guy that's been out there. He's had conversations with guys like JC and was putting those little nuggets that you don't quite get from your coaches. Hey, I've been out there. I've seen what it's like. You may want to do this instead of that. So all that is good energy for the Carolina Panthers. So I love it. I love it.
I've never gotten to say this sentence with you on, Rashad Beard, but we got a super chat from Sean who said Bryce supposed to be the silent assassin, not out there throwing hands and getting his ass whooped by JC. It's all fun though. Yes, all right. I don't want my guy throwing hands. Take care of the. Now, if the offensive line wants to go get it with JC a little bit, I'm good with that. But let's protect the investment, please and thank you.
Yeah. No, nobody's touching. Nobody's touching BY. BY's not throwing hands. It's all jokes.
By the way, leave JC alone too. You don't want him getting hurt.
Hey, JC's the one out there talking right now, which again I love because the question has been, and I know everybody's dialed in, and it makes sense they are. Rashad, it's an offensive league, but everybody's dialed in on the offense when the conversation needs to be, is this defense going to bounce back? A lot of injuries last year. We all know Derek Brown. We've talked about him. JC's been banged up throughout his whole career. Can he stay healthy? There's plenty of questions. You lose Shaq, which we need to talk about here in just a second. He's going up to Buffalo. There are question marks, but look at the Cincinnati Bengals. You can go score 10,000 points a year. It don't mean a damn thing if you can't stop everybody else from scoring 10,001.
Yeah, you got to have some talent on your defense, and I think that's the biggest thing. I went to a PSL owner event where the coaches were speaking, and the biggest thing that surprised me at this event was how confident Ejiro Evero was. Right, he had no worry about his job, right? Everybody publicly is, hey, this guy's on the hot seat. His seat is the hottest thing out there, right? And I think that from a public perspective, he's on his, if he doesn't show improve, then he's up out of here. But the confidence that Evero had on that stage when he was speaking to the fans, it just showed me that he didn't have, and it's obvious, he just didn't have what he needed last year to put forth a good product, right? We had a lot of injuries, a lot of things happened to our defense, a lot of which were out of his control, right? And again, some of the things he can take blame for, not putting the guys that he did have in the best position to succeed, sure. But I think that Evero is right now at this moment, with all things the way they are and guys that are coming back and the additions that we have and the draft that we had, I think he's really confident that this defense is going to be at least average, right? And I think that's all we need. We can't have a 32nd ranked defense like we did last year, right? And like you said, Rob, you can have the best offense in the world, but if your defense isn't having a few stops, then you're only as good as the defense is going to take you at some point. At some point, that defense is going to catch up with you, and you're going to catch some L's, right? So the defense has to meet us halfway, and I think that's going to happen this year. I think Evero is going to get it going.
I hope so, and I've made the point before. I'm a NASCAR guy, judge away. I've made the comparison of you can take Dale Earnhardt Sr., but if you stick him in a 92 Corolla, he can't win the Daytona 500, and that was kind of the spot that y'all were in last year on that side of the football. So with that being said, OTA's underway. Have we heard anything about the defense? Because, again, everybody's going to be dialed in, focused on the offense, but there hasn't really been much reporting, much talk about what the defenses look like. And, again, tough to get a lot of out of a mini camp, a lot of publicity for that. You're not even wearing pads, you can't hit whatever. But have you heard anything about the defense that's got your ears perked up?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head, right? I think that it is in the middle of mini camp. It's t-shirts, shorts. There's no pads, so you're not going to see much from a defense, especially in the trenches and the linebackers. You're not going to see that much. But I have seen a lot of interceptions being reported. Right, there's some guys out there making some plays on the football. One guy in particular that has done really well, according to the reports, is Shaw Smith-Wade, who we drafted last year. And we know that the secondary is our weakness, right? With him taking that next step and all the reports saying that he's doing well, that's a good sign because he can play nickel, he can play outside. He's kind of one of those chess pieces that you can use a little bit everywhere. And so I think having him be out there and playing well, that's a good sign. And it also shows signs of development, right? You got a guy, year 2 of the system, he's getting better. That's what you want to see. I've heard guys like Jaden Crumedy also getting better, right? Evero in that same chalk talk situation with the PSL owners, he hyped up the year 2 guys on defense. He's talked about the same thing. Trevon Moehrig is another guy that he spoke highly about. And again, I know he said some of these same things about Jeremy Chin before Jeremy Chin rode the pine, but he said that, this guy can play everywhere. He can play deep. He can play in the box. He can line up at linebacker potentially. So I'm excited to see Trevon Moehrig out there and see where he can play and how he can benefit in this system, because you got to remember, Evero's defense needs good safety play, and we didn't see good safety play last year at all. Right, that was more of a liability than anything. So to have a guy like Moehrig, come in secondary and in the safety room, I think that's a big addition. So only time will tell. I think training camp is where you're really going to see the big jump for the defense. And I think one of the biggest things also is that we're getting Derrick Brown back. Healthy Derrick Brown is a huge add, and so just having him back alone is going to take this defense to another step.
What when obviously we're kind of camp's over, we got the next round coming up here in a couple of weeks. The boys get some time to go dive into the playbook and all that. But as far as your expectations after rookie camp, your expectations of this mini camp, and your expectations moving forward, are you comfortable? And again, kind of tough to get eyes on right now. Most of this is closed off to the media. We can only see so much, but are you happy with where this team is in an offseason that, to me, feels very important? It feels like if this offseason doesn't go right, it leads to the team not playing well, and a lot of us have them picked to win the division. I'm not the only one, Rashad. Are you happy with the progress you are seeing right now through the draft, through the rookie camp, through the OTA spring mini camps, all that? Are you happy with where the team's at overall?
Yeah, I am. I am, and it's as difficult as things have been around here, I am pretty happy with the way things are. I mean, you can nitpick about certain positions. You can say, oh, well, we need another safety, or we can go out and get Jair Alexander or Jalen Ramsey. We can go get those guys. But I'm pretty happy with where we are. I think that you're letting your guys develop. You're seeing what you got out there. And if we do need to make an addition, I trust that Dan Morgan and company will make that happen, given our current cap situation. So I'm happy. Like, I think things are progressing. The biggest thing is that, when you look at the top down, it starts at the top, right? David Tepper is allowing these guys to cook. You're allowing these guys to draft who they want to draft. You're allowing your coaches to coach. And that's the biggest thing. A little bit of continuity right now is great. We haven't seen it around the Carolina Panthers in a long, long, long time. And allowing these guys to get a year two. It seems so minor, but it's so big for the Carolina Panthers. And allowing these guys to cook in year two, I think it's heading in the right direction. Now, I think I also want to caution folks, as excited as we are, this still is a young team. Dave Canales mentioned this also in the Panthers chalk talk situation with the PSL owners, that, hey, we are going to have some growing pains. We're going to hit a couple bumps in the road because this team is young. So be prepared for that. But ultimately, the starting point shouldn't be as bad as it was last year. We should hit the ground running a little bit faster. And we should get more wins early, and we will have to wait until that back end of the season to get better. So I think we'll be better for sure, and I like it.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast. Find them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC, but more importantly, head on over to YouTube, search them, subscribe to them, hit the bell, because the boys, I suspect, as the offseason rolls on, are going to get more and more active and just stay live, I don't know, all the time. At some point, you're just going to be like on a 24/7 webcam at the crib, aren't you?
Yeah, man. One day, hopefully I can do that with if my YouTube pays me enough, I can do that and quit my job. But that'd be great.
Y'all give Rashad money. Appreciate you, big fella. We'll talk to you next week, man. Thank you as always.
All right, guys, man. Appreciate you.
Rashad Beard, Panther Nation podcast. Again, find them on X at Panther Nation PC. But make sure you head on over to YouTube, search and subscribe, turn that bell on. The boys go live all the time. When we come back, Jay Paterno joins the show. Of course, the son of Joe Paterno. He is also an author, a coach, spent 20 years in the game, 17 at Penn State, has a book out called Blitz, the all-out pressure of college football's new era. He has been heavily following the House v. NCAA case, the settlement and all that. Jay Paterno gives his thoughts on where we go next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, we're going to step away and get Jay locked in. Y'all stay right there. We will be right back. Man, I'm going to have to up my office game with that background, Coach. Welcome in, man. Great to have you.
Good to be here, guys, again.
Appreciate you taking the time, man.
Oh, anytime.
I love it. I love it. So, just everything we went back and forth in the email, we'll kind of hit on. If there's any follow-ups, I'll hit you with them. Anything you specifically want to get to, feel free to throw it in there at any time. But we just kind of loosey-goosey on the program, so have at it.
20
Sounds
seconds.
good, man.
Love it. Let's roll. The Rob Brown Show, back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, all across South Carolina, all across the world at thefanupstate.com and on the Odyssey app. Joining us now on the radio program, Jay Paterno, the son of Joe Paterno. He's an author, a coach, a commentator, 2 decades coaching college ball, including 17 up at Happy Valley. And he has a book called Blitz, the all-out pressure of college football's new era. It is a spectacular read if you've not gotten the chance to pick it up. Jay, my man, welcome to the show. Thanks for taking a few minutes.
Oh, glad to be here as always.
Absolutely. Let's jump right in. I'll start with this one. Since the book came out, we've had a couple of things happen in the landscape of college football, Jay Paterno. Just a couple of $2.8 billion settlements that have got to be dealt with. Since the book came out and where we are now, what's been your 36,000-foot view of the direction of college football, college sports, and everything in between?
Well, I think we're stepping towards reality one more step now because revenue sharing is coming. And when you look at the Big Ten, we make $1.1 billion in television and media rights a year. That's with a B, 1.1 billion. So the reality is we're running sports enterprises. And this House settlement takes us one step further, but it's not the final say, because now there are Title IX lawsuits, because a year ago they were going to have to fall under Title IX. Now with the current administration, they're not going to enforce Title IX as it relates to revenue sharing. So we've gotten some steps forward, but collective bargaining, are they employees? Do they get benefits? Is there workman's comp if they get hurt? There's a whole lot of things going on right now that still have to be resolved, but this is a step forward to at least accepting the reality.
I do want to get into a lot of that, but obviously since the settlement last Friday, the biggest news was the appeal that came through from the 8 female college players saying it doesn't adhere to Title IX guidelines. There are thoughts about, maybe the administration's not going to enforce it. Maybe a judge that would oversee the appeal would. There's a whole lot. Do we have any idea what is going to come, if anything, of this appeal? I saw that it's not going to delay the revenue sharing payments starting on the 1st of July, but do you think it's a realistic possibility that this House v. NCAA settlement changes more because of this appeal or others down the line?
Oh, I think one thing that the NCAA has found out is they're on a big losing streak when it comes to lawsuits. So the question is, can they, do they want to fight this? Do they want to spend a lot of money to fight this and then lose? Do they think they have a case? So we'll see. But I think when you look at what's happening with women's sports, there's starting to be more and more revenue generated. When you look at some of the things going on in that regard, that I think there's a good shot that this thing breaks up this settlement a little bit.
Interesting. Jay Paterno joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. From the perspective of somebody who has obviously been coaching at the highest levels, been connected to college football at the highest level for decades now, what to you is going to be, of the House v. NCAA settlement, is going to be the most difficult thing for programs, and maybe not athletic departments, but football programs specifically, to deal with it? Is it the roster limitations? Is it assisting in NIL to get big names in? What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge for head coaches, for assistant coaches, for those that are in a football program as a result of the settlement?
Number one, egos, because you've got a salary cap. So in terms of the revenue sharing side. So now I've got to decide, where am I going to put my money? I think a lot of guys are going to study what the NFL does and how they value certain positions. I think you're going to see pass rushers get paid well. You're going to see quarterbacks get paid well. You're going to see left tackles, if you have a right-handed quarterback, get paid well. I think there may be pressure, for example, if Dabo Swinney and Shane Beamer are both chasing the same running back in South Carolina, or this guy wants an exorbitant amount of money and they walk away from him because they say, well, we can get 3 or 4 really good offensive linemen and get a back who's almost as good. Are the fans going to be okay with them passing on that guy? So it's going to create a lot of pressure that way. Finding the revenue is not going to be easy. At a school like Penn State, which I'm on the board of trustees, so I know the numbers. The last several years, we've been at break even or lose a little money in athletics. So all of a sudden now, from last year, when I think we cleared maybe $1 million or $2 million on $205 million in revenue, where do we find $20.5 million in revenue for revenue sharing in the next 3 weeks? And then on top of that, now that you've got these rules in place, we had rules in place before. There are still going to be bags of cash that show up off the books to get people as a way around the salary cap, as a way around NIL. So this doesn't solve anything, but for coaches, their challenge is going to be not only assembling talent in a roster, but also seeing if they can form them into a cohesive team that all has the same goals.
This new college sports commission that is supposed to be the rules creating and enforcing arm of the NCAA, although it appears that the conferences are actually going to have more say on how it runs and operates than the NCAA does, where do they fit in? My thought was, if this thing is going to be effective, they kind of got to be the anti-NCAA in that if a violation gets found, if a school breaks the cap, if the NIL isn't working the right way, they may have to bring a hammer down on the first couple of violations to show that we are really putting hands in on this. Where do you think they fit into all this, and how do you think that entity is going to operate in relation to the schools that are trying to navigate these uncharted waters?
Well, I think the first problem they're going to have is tracking the NIL deals, because it comes down to the players reporting the NIL deals, and any deal over $600, which essentially is pretty much any deal. That's $50 a month. So I mean, if a restaurant in downtown Columbia gives a South Carolina player $50 a month just to tweet about it, he's got to report that. So you're going to have tens of thousands of people reporting this, and then they have to get approved. So that's problem number one. Number two, once you find a major violation, they're going to, as you said, they're going to have to bring the hammer down because everybody is going to keep an eye on this. And the minute they bring the hammer down, there's going to be some attorney general at the state of the school that gets hammered that's going to come in and say, wait a minute, you don't have antitrust exemption, so this, you really can't enforce this. There's going to be a lawsuit. So it's going to be interesting to see. And then the other question is, oh, by the way, this is college athletics and they're supposed to be student athletes. So are we going to have initial eligibility like we've had? Who's going to enforce the academic eligibility? So all these things are going to be really interesting to see how they play out.
One of the thoughts